I think we're recording now, right? Okay, perfect. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can already possibly tell from the looks of this video, we're gonna talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Movie O. There's a lot to talk about in this fucking review right now that I'm gonna bring up because I just came from watching it. I'm like, it's March 18th, this day one. Like I really had to, I really wanted to. I got off work. I said, you know what? If there's seats available, I'll fucking do it. Why not? Um, yeah, no, like there were two seats available, and took my chance. I went to watch it, and oh wow, jeez, there's a lot to talk about. That's why I really hope this video doesn't turn out too long because my battery's about to die actually on my recording device. But first off, if you are a anime only watcher, a viewer, and you have not watched the movie, then please be advised that this is a very spoiler-ish filled video. I'm going to talk about a lot of spoilers. If you are a anime only viewer and you watch the movie but you have not read the manga, I'm gonna reference to a bunch of manga shits that may or may not happen eventually. So yeah, um, because this movie goes to certain places that I wasn't expecting it to go. I'm happy it did because, and kind of less happy that it did in certain areas because yeah, no, it feels without spoiling anything all too much, and you let's just say that you just watched the movie, or let's say you just even haven't even watched the movie, you're still getting to this 2 minute mark of this video. I'll tell you this: it's a great movie. Go watch it. It's a really great movie. Studio Mappa did their thing. They animated the crap out of this movie. They a lot of little details, animation details that were very worthwhile. Other sequences that I wish would have been left out for these reasons I'll say it later. Overall, as a Jujutsu Kaisen movie, I would give this movie a 9 out of 10 easily. As an anime movie by itself, an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 still. If let's say you did read the manga, the volume O, right over here, um, and you're curious about what I think about this movie, in comparison to the manga, I want to say there's a 7 or 8 out of 10 in regards to how faithful it is to the manga, because I guess the story implied certain things, and this movie filled in certain things that I wasn't expecting it to fill in, that I feel like weren't necessary. Um, Without being too biased or um, too overly how do you call it, overly speculative and just criticism, like all that bullshit and whatever not. But yeah, good movie, go watch it. Like sheesh, I got to watch it in theaters, which is fun. It's nice to watch it in theaters, see all the little details in like huge IMAX screen. I got to watch it in IMAX because I had to. I am a big Jujutsu Kaisen fan, and yeah, now putting that out the way, I'm gonna talk about spoilers nonstop, and you're not gonna be able to stop me. I mean, if you were curious about anything in regards to this movie, and you wanted to keep certain surprises for yourself, then maybe click away, follow this channel, like this video, save it in your watch later or in your favorites, and eventually come back to it after you watch this movie. And maybe catch up with the manga as well while you're at it, because there's going to be a lot of shit that I'm going to be talking about in this story, in this video. That, yeah, no. So that was your warning, your again 4 minute warning. Let's keep this review going. 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. So, first off, I want to say that Rika, the cursed tool, the curse itself, cursed Rika, the queen of curses, as they call her in the Jujutsu world, it didn't come off as scary in like animation form as it seemed in the manga, at least to me. Like in the manga, it definitely felt a lot more creepier, especially when you have that early sequence of them explaining Utah's backstory. Of like when she turned into an actual curse after she fucking got hit by a fucking car. and you had that little, in the manga at least, it was a panel where she's like grabbing onto his feet, and you see this mouth. Um, it was it was not as creepy as I would have expected it animated. I was really hoping they were gonna nail that out the park. I felt like the curse Rika didn't feel as scary, like visually, like from an animation point of view, as I wanted it to be. Now, if this was a real world event and Queen of Curses Rika was a real thing, yes, this is a fucking frightening power, because the idea of Utah having an endless amount of curse energy and being able to replicate all these curse techniques is scary and fucking OPSL. Now, I do like that they went a little bit deeper into the backstory, and I'm not 100% sure because I haven't read the volume in like a minute, but I definitely read the volume like a bunch of times beforehand, but I haven't read it in a while. But I don't recall if this backstory was given that early to like that explored in like that early in the story, because I felt like the in the manga at least, the last fight, like the final arc of the movie, let's say the final sequence of the movie, I felt like in the manga it was definitely nicely divided between one third the introduction, one third the in between stuff and the build up, and then one third the final battle. In the movie, I felt like the structure of the movie was definitely different. I felt like the movie was dividing in like, let's say, four quarters almost. Like the first quarter was the introduction, the second quarter was like the in between stuff, and the second and I mean the third and the fourth quarter were definitely more along the lines of the finale battle. Which definitely adds on into the fact that yes, they added a whole bunch of scenes into this movie, which is a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that, well, I'm getting ahead of myself right now, but the good thing is that obviously they added more backstory to a bunch of characters and a bunch of stuff, um, a bunch of things that were implied in the manga that weren't really literally told or shown, and that was cool. Some of that stuff was cool. Some of the stuff that they showed us was stuff that we were going to get eventually explained in the Shibuya incident arc, for example. Like the two little girls that Gojo saved, no, not Gojo, that Geto saved. You got an implication, you got like a short kind of teaser as to their backstory, and that's something I didn't feel was necessary. I feel like that was like, yeah, just to kind of introduce you to these characters. So later on when you're watching, let's say the anime, you could be like, oh yeah, I remember them from the movie, and I remember them from this and that. Like I didn't feel it was necessary. Like I would have been fine if we just got them teased, and they're like, and by the end of the movie, we're like, oh, okay, they were there, and then eventually you saw them come back, and like, oh shit, they were in the movie, and like they were in the previous incident. So I felt that would have been could have been handled differently. You get a little bit deeper. I'm moving on with this movie because there's a lot actually I want to talk about. But you get that final sequence, that little extra fight of Miguel versus Gojo, which is extended, and that was cool. I liked it because I think in the manga it was only like implied that they fought, and you have like a little small sequence that they were going to get back to back, but now you actually see them fighting, and I like how both the manga and this movie don't really tell you how it got resolved. It just kind of implied that it got resolved because most likely the author has something planned for that conversation that they both had together. I'm assuming at least that's what's going to happen, that something was said, something was spoken about in that conversation. And I feel like Miguel is going to play like I think that's his name, right? Miguel, the dude. I feel like he's going to play an important factor in some other plan or something else in the future. I'm putting my money on that right now. Just a theory. Uh, but let's get onwards with the actual after the introduction of Utah and his backstory. So obviously you have the whole introduction in the classroom. It was all funny. I think like it was that the comedy was there too. Like it was well executed. Um, I feel like the ghetto stuff as well of his introduction, um, being in the hallway room, in like the shrine room, so to say, and helping people out with who have curses on them to steal their curses basically, so you can accumulate all of them eventually. And he was getting paid by the by these people at the same time, which was cool, and it was very faithful to the manga. However, we did get a little bit of censorship because I do believe that in the manga, this is not because I wanted it to be like that or animated, or because I wanted to see it animated. I'm just saying that because it was in the manga like this. And I think she was actually legit getting roped in the manga as well. The girl that Geto saves. Um, also, I think they also go a little bit into how Ghetto eats the or maybe I missed it while watching the movie, but I think they do. Uh, excuse me. Go into how the anytime every time he swallows like the cursed energy and eats the curse up to add it to his repertoire. I think that is also mentioned in the manga, and I'm not sure in the movie. Again, like I said, maybe I missed it. That it tastes like absolute like vomit almost, and that it's horrible to digest. Which was an interesting little detail because it also further implies that it's not a fun process to take these curses in. And I think we also get in the movie like a small introduction to the squad, Ghetto Squad, but in the manga we get that a little bit more explored. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong again. It's been a minute since I read the manga, but I felt like we spent more time in the manga with the squad in that little room in that talks. I think they're actually going up against one another at some point. There could be I could be wrong. It could be in the Shibuya incident. That's where it happens, and maybe that's why it's still fresh in my memory. But I thought at least that it felt like the introduction was very short-handed, and the sequence in the when they first meet Yuta in the school was pretty cool. It was very well put together. Gojo has all his badass moments. If you love Gojo, you definitely got your uh, your love for him in this movie. Uh, jumping back again, the Maki and Yuta fight was pretty cool. The humor was there in regards to whether or not Yuta and Maki had a thing going on. Well, if anything, Maki had a thing for Yuta. That was cool. I'm all for the Yuta and Maki shipping. Really, like I fucking love Maki and Miwa both. Um, the little sequence between our salmon boy over there, shit, curse speech technique user. Fuck, I forgot his name. I'm horrible with names. You guys know this if you watch the channel. His sequence was cool. Um, it felt fast, but I think also that's also because I took my time reading that sequence. Uh, in the movie, but it felt very fast, but it was still cool. Yuta goes through a progression very quickly because he kind of has to keep the movie going. And even in the manga, I think that his character development like just speeds up just because you kind of need it to. Like the author had one volume to put all this together, so you needed him to move forward. Um, like I said, Rika wasn't as menacing as I felt it to be, as in the manga at least. Ghetto had really beautiful animations. It was really well put together. And I'm not sure if it was in the manga already, but I think because we established this already in the anime and where we are in the story, at least in the manga, I think towards the end of the fight where Yuta and Ghetto fight. Sorry, long day again. Towards the end of the fight when they're fighting, I think that Yuta actually pulls up a black flash punch on him, which is cool. Like the animation definitely felt like a black flash punch, and that's really cool. I'll tell you that. Those were very cool. Animation was there. The music I want to say I wasn't too crazy about. I just didn't feel like it was there yet. Um, it was sometimes you heard it in the background a little bit more, but I feel like the voice acting and the animation was really what carried this movie. the music wasn't there, in my opinion. Um, Other things that was cool to see, I guess, all the other Jujutsu sorcerers out there. You got to see young versions of a lot of characters, like you got um, shit the blood curse user. You got Miwa there. Miwa, I'll never forget. Mekamaru, you got there as well. You got the other Senin sister in there. Shit, like it like fucking Toto was there. That's something I wish we got to see more, because it in the manga, at least, no, yeah, it wasn't in volume 0. I think it was later on when they were talking about Toto. I think they said that during that incident that happened, he defeated multiple high grade curses, and that's something I wish we saw, because we got a small introduction. You got that little comedic moment of him, like, oh, I have to watch this show with this idol and whatever, and the fuck, so I have to finish this quickly, which is hilarious if that was the reason why he fucked up all those high end curses, high level curses that quickly. Um, but I wish we got to see a little bit more of that. I wish we got that. Yeah, we got those nods to, like, yeah, you remember him? Yeah, you remember her? Um, I wish we got a nod to the Black Crow technique. That would have been cool. That was something I thought they were gonna show us from the way they were spoiling like freaking curse techniques. Um, I thought they were gonna give us what's her name again? Girl with a long piece of hair, like blue hair, and that has a thing for her brother. um, um, I wish we saw her crow technique a little bit, or maybe just applied in a certain different manner. But I guess they were trying to keep that secret for the anime. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Utah? I don't remember if this happened in the manga. I would have to reread this. But did Utah use a freaking purple? The fucking purple beam that Gojo uses. Infinite Purple, I think it was called, or something like that. The blast that he uses, is that what he used at the end to beat Geto? Because if they are from the same family lineage, and he can use unlimited curse energy, and he uses that blast, which again, if you're not a manga reader and you're just an anime only viewer, and for whatever fuck reason you're watching this is basically the blast that he blew our plant curse at the end of the land of in the last season. Um, and yeah, Gojo got a lot of moments to shine in this movie. He did great. He did excellent. He was top notch. To Gojo. If you loved Gojo at all, like, he did his thing in this movie. I had the crowd. The crowd was cheering when he like took his bandages off, and you could tell he was getting serious. The crowd also clapped like crazy for Nanami, which is, of course, you have to, because Nanami is the absolute shit. You get a small introduction to one of his students, the one who uses the different spirit beast curses, with the full on mask on, head mask on, head cover, which is cool because I love that character. I just wish he got better screen time in the manga and better representation. But he's a cool character. Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but like when Gojo pulled when Geto pulled out the Utah's car that he found, he pulled it out of the curse that he may or may not have stolen from what you may call it, what's homeboy's name, Fushigoro's father, Toji Fushigoro, because that's the same looking demon, and if you follow the manga events, and the fact that this came after what's going to happen next season, actually, because the next season is going to be the backstory of Geto and Gojo. Technically, Geto could have acquired that curse according to what's going to happen next. And I'm excited. I'm excited as hell because everyone's talking, oh, Shibuya incident this and Shibuya incident that, which yes is a fucking amazing arc. But I'm very excited to see the freaking Star Plasma Vessel arc. I'm very very excited to see that. Um, if you came to watch the movie to see Yuji and Itadori and um, our homegirl and our homeboy Shadow Boy. I'm horrible with names, sorry. Nobara and Fushiguro. Like, if you came to watch this movie to see them, then you're gonna be disappointed, obviously, because you're getting introduced to a character that is fucking overpowered and is playing a role in the current manga arcs. And it's cool that they were able to align the movie. Excuse me, the movie release with what's currently going on in the manga. That is very very cool. I really hope that with current incidents that Yuta is okay, because Yuta is the absolute shit. I love Yuta, and I would love to see a reunion between him and Maki, because that's my Jujutsu Kaisen shipping really. Uh, I had, like, again, obviously this movie has a post credit scene. If you watch the movie and you didn't see a post credit scene, it wasn't nothing too crazy. It was nothing too spoilerish either, but it was just Miguel and Utah like sitting together eating something. I think they're in Utah's country, actually. No, in Miguel's country, if I'm not mistaken. Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And just Gojo pops out of nowhere and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And that's kind of weird out of nowhere. So I'm not sure if this implies something or a conversation maybe that they'll have or that they're going to have. Um, but yeah, it's weird. If you follow the manga, you know that the Colon games are going on right now, taking place right now. And so um, I had the crowd was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe the villain is with him," and I'm like, "Did you pay attention to the anime at all? If you're watching or the manga, let alone." Miguel was already introduced as a high-end sorcerer, which I think even like Gojo said that he could be up his level or even higher. Um, and he's roaming around with Utah. It was already stated early in the manga. Plus, in the second OP, I think from Jujutsu Kaisen, I think opening 2, I think you kind of see like like a shot of in the opening sequence, the music sequence of like Yuta and Miguel together. Plus, on the in the first season, it's stated that they're hanging out together. I think it's like literally animated. So like I'm not sure if the people that watched the anime in my theaters were paying attention at all or read the manga at all. But yeah, no. And I don't want to be one of those assholes that like, oh, you didn't pay attention, you fucking nerd. No, but like, yeah, no, it's to me, like, no, why is this a surprise to people? Like, this is just like with what should have been a surprise for those that didn't read the fucking manga is the fact that, like, all right, wait, so does he let Geto live? Like, what the hell's going on? And I'd like that at that last sequence between Geto and Gojo, you have that moment where he says something, but we're not allowed to hear it because it's still not confirmed what really was said, since current events after the Shibuya incident gives us a hard time figuring out what happened, what exactly happened at that moment. You hear a slash, a cut, but up to there's where it happens, really. Like, we don't get much more of information, and I don't know, like, it's interesting. I still want to find out what was said, what was done, what really occurred, because obviously if you read the manga, then you know that Geto's body got taken over. And did Gojo just leave the body there? Like, that's the question. Like, what the fuck happened? There's more to it than that. And like, and Brain Shan, as they call him in the community, calls him Brain Shan, took advantage to take him out and shit, or let's take over his body, and again, just which leads to the situation that we're in right now. But I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I didn't see anything of, unless it was in Japanese written in the subtitle, in the credits. I didn't read anything of Jujutsu Kaisen season X, season 3 announced or something like that, because season 2 announced, because I think that's kind of implied is going to happen. I think Mappa is right now focusing on just finishing up Attack on Titan, and Chainsaw Man is coming out this year, which is, I cannot fucking wait for Chainsaw Man to come out. But Mappa has a work cut out for them. Like, the animation wise, this beautiful movie. There are little like 60 frame animations or like 30 frame animations. I wasn't paying 100% attention on that, but there were definitely like 30 or 60 frame animations where you see like a beautiful transition of like Geto's facial expressions, like the animation that happens in between the fights, the speed. Like, I love the Jujutsu Kaisen animation so much that I bought both the first and second volume of like the excuse me, of the animations cells and shits. Like, they sell physical copies of the animation of the first season in 2 volumes, in 2 books, and I bought both of them. They're really interesting to read. They're a really cool. They're a really cool read if you're anywhere interested in animation, how that goes about. Um, but yeah, no, that was basically my review and fandom about this fucking movie. Like, it was really good. It was really, really fun. I feel like certain scenes were a little dragged out a little bit too much. That's what I do want to point out. It wasn't 100% faithful to the manga, and I want to say that sometimes that was a small problem for me, like a minor nitpick. Sometimes I felt that I wish they kept it more loyal to the actual book, and sometimes they added stuff that wasn't there that I really appreciated. Sometimes they added stuff that I felt didn't need to be there. I think the last battle was definitely just more a wink wink to all the people and all the fans of all these characters, and even to some manga readers of like, hey, look, we're introducing this character, just so you know. I'm surprised that the Sennin family, like the head of the Sennin family, wasn't there. I would have flipped out if he got introduced into the battle, because his curse technique is one of the coolest shits ever. But then again, because it's one of the coolest shit ever, they didn't want to spoil it, because he comes in a very pivotal moment in the Shibuya incident. So yeah, no. If you like this full spoiler-filled review, then please hit the like down below. Comment what you think of the movie, and obviously, if you're going to talk spoilers, just in case, all caps, hit spoilers, like type out spoilers and then type under your text the spoiler text that you wanted to say. Just for out of respect for those that feel they need to still look into this video and maybe don't want to get spoiled on certain things. If there are certain things that I said wrong or incorrectly, feel free to correct me down in the comments down below. Hope you liked this video. Hope you enjoyed the movie yourself. Like, I had a blast from the movie. It was hella fun. But otherwise, yeah, no, please subscribe, like, and hopefully I'll see you next time again. Take care. Bye.